Hi everyone, today's video features the new Stampin' Glitter Emboss powder, which you'll find in the holiday catalogue. It's easy to gloss over it actually when you're looking through. It's down the bottom of page 7. It comes in 2 colours, Emerald Envy and Real Red, and it is gorgeous. If you haven't tried it, you need to get some and start making some Christmas cards with it. I was thinking too, you could use the red for Valentine's Day cards, and even the green would be useful for birthday cards and things like that too. So you can use it all year round. Today I wanted to share with you a few hints and tips on using that powder, as well as the new Stitched Shapes Framelits. So let me just grab the flyer for that one as well. These have been pre-released by Stampin' Up this month, so you can get them now. They're coming into the new catalogue for next year, but they're available now. So you can order them straight away in my store. And there are a number of stamp sets that coordinate with this set of dies, this set of framelits, and they are 25% off this month as well. So you can grab yourself a bargain if you've got some of these stamp sets on your wish list, some from the holiday catalogue and some from the annual catalogue. You can check that out in my store as well. Just to show you the framelits, they come in the square shape, and then over the other side you'll see there's some circles. I'm missing one because I used it at my class last night. It's over on my table. And the ovals, so you've got a whole set. There's one of those missing as well, so there's actually 4 in each of the shapes, the sets of shapes, and they coordinate together. They also coordinate with the other plain shaped dies, so the nesting, the circle dies, the ovals, and the other square framelits that we have in our catalogue. So you can use them together with those. I love the fact that you get all the shapes in the one packet, and they're a great deal for $50. So you're getting the 12 Stitched Shapes Framelits for $50 Australian. What I wanted to show you though was how to get a different shape with your framelits. So you may have seen on some of the samples around about the place an oblong shape, and you're probably wondering how you can do that. So I wanted to show you that, and then I wanted to demonstrate how to use the gorgeous new Stampin' Glitter Emboss powder. So I'm going to demonstrate that as well. Let me just pop those to the side for the moment. I'm going to bring in my big shot with the largest of the square dies in the Stitched Shapes Framelits. And I'll stand up to make sure that I'm in camera here. What you'll need to do is use your cutting mats. I've actually got the platform here with the extra layer, and you're going to use a cutting mat down the bottom, and there's my cardstock and my die with the cutting blade downwards. But what you'll want to do is put your top cutting mat in a strategic place when you're cutting your framelit. When you're cutting your cardstock with the framelit. So I'm going to line it up so that my top cutting mat falls just before that last edge on the square framelit. And I'm going to push it through, just carefully making sure it's still lined up until my big shot handle starts to move and I know that that's engaged. And then you can start bringing that through. You'll hear a bit of a noise as that's cutting. So that's what you'll end up with. See how it's only cut around those 3 sides and not the 4th one. So the next cut you're going to do, I'll bring it back out this way again, to get the oblong shape is you're going to line up your your square framelit once again, just so it's about 1 centimetre overlapping where you've already cut. So that's what you want. So just make sure that's lined up nice and straight. And then you're going to bring out your platform just a little bit. And this time you'll slide your top mat. I'll bring it into the focus again so you can see. You're going to slide your top cutting mat just so it's before that last side of the square, that last cutting surface of the square again. And then running it through. This is what we get. So we've cut that side out, and let's lift it off and see. See how you've got the continuous stitched feature there, and it's now an oblong shape. So it's great if you have some larger greetings like the ones in this stamp set, which I'm about to show you, and you'll be able to fit those on a little bit more easily with the oblong shape. Okay, let me just get rid of the big shot. I am using for my stamping, I'm using the white, shimmery white cardstock, which I think is really, really pretty. With the glitter, it kind of adds a bit of an extra sparkle. I don't know if you can see that in my video. What you're going to want to do is use your embossing buddy before you stamp anything. And just a little tip, when you're using this Stampin' Emboss powder, because it's not pure embossing powder, it actually does have some glitter mixed in with it, which of course is not going to melt when you use your heat gun. It's just embedded in the embossing powder, the bright red embossing powder, and same with the green one. So you'll want to make sure that your Versamark is nice and juicy. So I have used my re-inker with my Versamark powder. I've just re-inked it. Mine's a very old one, but you'll get the idea. So you want a nice juicy pad to start with, and I recommend that you ink up your stamp upside down like this. So I have the rubber facing me, and I use my pad like a sponge. So you just want to make sure that you get a really good coverage on that stamp. Now if I hold that up, can you see how that looks a little bit wet and shiny? That's what you want all over your stamp. Now I've used my embossing buddy over the cardstock, so I don't get any extra bits of embossing powder stuck. And I'm going to plonk that down and hold it down nice and firmly. Give it a couple of seconds to transfer. So that's a clear ink, so you won't see that very well until I get the powder on there. I've just got a little piece of paper here, and I'm going to pour the glitter on. Now another little tip that I have discovered as I've used this is don't be afraid to use the whole pot. And don't be afraid to get your fingers a little bit sparkly. What I would recommend is just kind of spreading it out, making sure it's all over the image that you've stamped. And then you can press it down without sliding your finger. Just give it a little press down and make sure that the image is well covered with the embossing powder as well as the glitter, because that's what's going to hold the glitter in place and make your image nice and shiny. So I'm just going to give that a flick, lifting it up. And any other little flecks that you get there, you can just rub off with your fingers. Alright, so I'm going to grab my heat gun, which is over here. Sorry, just got tangled up in the cords a little bit. Move the powder away before you start heating. I'll pop that back in a second. And when you're heating this, it will go slightly darker when it's melted. So you just need to keep a fairly close eye on it. You'll also probably need to hold it under the light. So if you've got a good light source in your craft room, that's always helpful when you're embossing, especially with this. It takes about the same amount of time to melt as normal embossing powder too. So what it looks like. I'll do this half over here and then you can see the difference. Way to test it is if you run your hand over it and the glitter stays put, then you know that you have melted it. I'm going to flip it over and do the other side. Then I'll bring in the completed project for you to have a look at again. So yeah, super important to use your buddy because this stuff has both glitter and embossing powder in it, and it will stick around about your image if you don't use this before you stamp. So there's that sparkle, very pretty. And what I'll do is bring in my final card. I've just simply layered that onto some of our specialty designer series paper, added some of the mini jingle bells, very cute, and this one has the mini pine cones which are also in the holiday catalogue, and that's done in the green, so you can see how pretty that looks, how sparkly that looks as well on one of the circle images from the Stitched Shapes Framelits. You can see these cards on my blog, and I'll have a full list of ingredients on there for you. And you can shop anytime, 24/7, to get these products and more in my store. Thanks for watching. Bye.